Welcome to Bluegrass Brooklyn, our podcast all about the music we love, straight from the Bluegrass Borough of Brooklyn, New York. Welcome to this Monday edition of Bluegrass Brooklyn. I'm your host, Mike Wilner. In these Monday editions, we explore topics adjacent to, related to, and supporting our favorite music. So we hope you enjoyed the interview and the adventure, but please remember, follow us at Bluegrass Brooklyn, Brooklyn spelled BKLYN, on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. If you like to contact us directly with suggestions or comments, please email mike@bluegrassbrooklyn.com. If you're looking for gems in uptown Manhattan, Bronx, Riverdale, or even New Jersey, and more all around the country and world, check out bluegrassjamsnearme.com. Okay, so let's roll. The South Street Seaport in New York City is tucked away all the way on the southern end of Manhattan. It's an old part of town, winding cobblestone streets, no particular grid pattern. Today, it is a lot of tourist attractions, some bars for tourists, a couple of interesting things like the U.S. Navy maintains a three-masted schooner, which they have their midshipmen take out once in a while to train them on archaic sailing techniques. And tucked away under the Manhattan side of the Brooklyn Bridge is an inviting little restaurant called Cowgirl Seahorse. And today we're going to explore how this unassuming restaurant went from a standing start 13 years ago, survived Hurricane Sandy and being drowned pretty much, to today where it is relentlessly and effectively supporting and promoting local musicians and artists, has 2 music nights a week, hosts a jam, and is so dedicated to the music we love that we recognize it as an iconic venue here in New York City. So let's hear more about Cowgirl Seahorse. First, let's talk to Gail Courtney, one of the partners and the mastermind behind the music scene at Cowgirl Seahorse. Let's give a listen. So here we are with Gail Courtney, who is the music director. I think that's the title.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, you've now officially bestowed the title of music director at Cowgirl Seahorse. First of all, Gail, thanks for taking time.
Oh, my pleasure.
To give the listener some context, Gail and I got a chance to chat one evening at Cowgirl Seahorse and discuss the idea of doing an episode that focuses on the restaurant because there's a lot of music going on there, and you can walk up to pretty much any bluegrass musician in New York and say, do you know about Cowgirl Seahorse? And the answer is going to be yes. So we wanted to share a little bit more about the location with you. So Gail, let's start at the beginning. When did you first start working at the Seahorse?
I started the day we opened, and we actually opened 16 years ago, July 14th.
Wow.
And I've been there since the beginning.
Did you start off as a music curator or director? Or
Nope, we didn't have music at the time. I started out as a waitress.
I see.
And slowly worked my way in and up.
I want to mention that our friend Theo Boguszewski works at Cowgirl Seahorse. And was she working there at that time?
No, she came in a couple years later. She started out as bus girl after she graduated college.
I remember the quote from her in her interview was she graduated with a degree in dance, and she did what you always do with a degree in dance, got a job in a restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to that. That was that made me laugh.
When is it that the restaurant started putting up music, and what was your involvement in that decision?
Our founder, Sherry Delamarter, who also owns a restaurant across town, Cowgirl, on Hudson Street. It was like the fall of 2009. She decided she wanted to have music. And she was at her other restaurant on Hudson Street. And the actor Dominic Chianese, do you know him from The Sopranos? Uncle Junior on The Sopranos?
Yep.
He was doing a play around the corner, and he came into the restaurant. and he was chatting with Sherry, and he said that he wanted to start a country band. He's like a lounge singer kind of thing, but he said he wanted to do a country band. And she said, "Oh, well, you could do this at my new restaurant I just opened." And then Dominic brought his friend from HBO, Roger Moley, and he's a bass player, and they put together this band. Sherry brought in her husband, and they billed themselves as, what's his name? Hank Alfredo and the Spaghetti Westerns.
When was this again?
This was in 2009 in the fall.
Got it.
This guy from The Sopranos, Uncle June, and he was Hank Alfredo, and he had this bluegrass type band that just kind of got formed together, and they sang some songs.
Theo mentioned that her dad had a band called the Foggy Vision Boys, and that they played at the Seahorse.
The Crusty Gentlemen.
Yeah.
So the band that backed up Dominic, they got together and formed the Crusty Gentlemen, and they've been playing they played like once a month from 2009 to 2020, like right before COVID. They played like 130 something shows.
Wow. So at what point did you get involved with the music side of the business?
Well, we weren't having music regularly. We just basically had them play once a month. And then we decided bringing people in. Let's see what we could do. And Monday's a slow night. Let's get some music going. So just started booking. And I learned about different bands through the Crusty Gentlemen, and people would come see them. And that's where I met all these bluegrass people. Theo had a lot to do with it as well.
I had the opportunity to bring in musicians and bands at Delia's Lounge, where we host our jam. Basically, the start of each jam is more or less one of the musicians brings their band, and they do like a half-hour set, more or less, and then we roll into the jam. And it's fascinating to me, the process of identifying people to bring in, getting them to show up, and getting them onto the stage. What's your process for selecting a band? It makes you decide, once you've gotten the name of a band or heard them, what steps do you go through?
If I like them, if I like you, I'll hire you. No, basically, I get a lot of submissions, and that's why we had to add a second night of music. Now we do Mondays and Tuesdays. I listen to all of them. If I don't like it, I'm not going to hire you. If I think you're okay and I feel like you can bring in a lot of people, I might hire you. And I meet a lot of people through the other musicians.
Right.
So they're like, my friend so-and-so wants to play, and they'll send me, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. They'll send me an email with links to their music. And basically, if I like it.
So you're the arbiter of taste as far as which bands get put up. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? That's a lot of responsibility. You are currently booking bands twice a week and plus,
Twice a week.
And we have a jam there every month, right?
The last Tuesday of every month.
And so far, it seems to me that it's been a successful undertaking, at least I know from the musician's perspective, it's a lot of fun. How do the customers enjoy the ad hoc nature of us musicians getting up there and teaching each other the song and sometimes getting it right, sometimes not?
I don't know. I think it's probably like something they've never experienced before. So I feel like they probably do find it very interesting,
Have you found that bringing in bands and music has enhanced the crowds on Monday and Tuesday nights? You get more.
Definitely. And we have, certain bands have certain followings, and our established customers have started following some of the bands. And the Crusty Gentlemen used to bring in a lot of people, and people are still asking for them to this day.
Where are the Crusty Gentlemen today?
Bob Holmes and Jonathan Gregg were two of the Crusty Gentlemen. They spun off and started a band called Sus. It's ambient country music. And they're doing really, really well. They're touring, and they can't do anything else except for be sus, S-U-S-S.
Do you play an instrument?
I did years ago.
What? Go ahead, admit
I played the viola and the guitar.
Viola, that's a tough one.
Yep.
You still play it all, or just for fun?
No, I don't. I actually purchased a viola recently to see if I could get it back, but I don't. I can't.
Yeah, I picked up playing fiddle about a year and a half ago. So that puts it at age 68. I started for any kind of fretless bowed instrument. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge to start or restart, I bet.
One day, maybe I'll take lessons. I went on YouTube and started looking and trying, but I don't know. I have too much on my plate right now.
It's a great resource. All I'll say is please try again and bring it to a jam, and let's hear you. As long as you can play G, C, and D, that's all you got to do. Is there any genre or variety of music that you're most interested in?
I mean, initially I was booking country, bluegrass, Americana, folk, that kind of music to kind of keep with our theme.
Mm-hmm.
But slowly I've been incorporating other kinds of bands, like cover bands. People really like that. Not the kind you're thinking of, but just bands that play covers of songs that people like. For instance, we had two bluegrass musicians last night. Robert Bach and Christian Apuzzo.
I certainly do.
The locksmiths, yeah. So they were there last night and they were, doing their thing, playing their bluegrass and Americana, and then they started playing some pop songs and the crowd just loved it.
I know
People were
that
dancing and everything.
our friend, you said dancing?
Dancing, yeah, there was dancing last night to them. People love to hear songs they know.
This is very true. I know our friend Seth Goldart, when he comes and plays, he does a lot of cool covers and puts his own and puts his own spin on it. How far afield do you think you're going to go in terms of genre? If somebody comes in with a hip hop artist?
No. Mm-mm.
You just
we're sticking to what we have.
So it's Americana.
Yeah, and we don't do big bands, with like a full drum set and electric guitars and everything. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, let me set the scene for the listeners a little bit. You walk into the restaurant, and immediately to your left, there's an area which is actually big enough for 4 or 5 musicians to stand comfortably. It looks like the house invested in the sound system. So there's a PA system and there's mics if you need them and so on. So I'm guessing you probably have got to limit band size to 5, 6 people because otherwise it's going to get a little crowded up there.
Except for the jam nights.
Yeah, then we
take up the extra tables.
Do you get your customers expressing an interest in getting involved in the music based on their experience there?
In the jam or playing at the restaurant?
Both ways.
As far as the jam, I kind of feel like they go up to you guys, to the jam people, and ask them. But I have people all the time saying, I have a band, and they're always wanting to play at the restaurant.
Yeah. How far out are you booked right now?
I'm booked for the year.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Year, yep.
My experiences with the podcast where I was always like, it's episode 1. Oh, who am I going to get for episode 2? And now I've got stuff out for the next 2 seasons.
It was too much doing it every other month, trying to book for the next and remembering who played last. And it's much easier this way.
My experience has been you got to be very flexible and adaptable when you're working with bands.
And anytime a band cancels or drops out, it's like the best day ever because then I could give somebody a date, somebody who was waiting on my B list, and they're very happy.
It's a great and fun venue. It's very welcoming. Our experience in the world of jamming is a welcoming and supportive venue is like 90% of it. A place where they want you there and welcome you.
We do our best to keep all the musicians happy.
As long as the owner's not standing there looking at the bar take and the restaurant taking, kind of with a calculator saying, oh, these guys are or are not helping me tonight, so I'm happy or sad. It's much better when it's just a supportive environment.
Jam is great. You bring in a lot of people, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, we have a ton of fun there, I'll tell you that much. There was a Cowgirl Seahorse stage at Porch Stomp, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Were you involved?
How long has Porch Stomp been around? 12 years?
Something like that.
At least it was 10 last year, I think. So maybe 11 years. Yes, we've had a stage since the inception.
Yep. Do you get involved with curating for the stage?
Theo pretty much books that. She does all the booking for that. I'm there helping and supporting at this point.
Yep.
I get to enjoy the music, which is nice.
Yeah, that is great to just be there and be able to help, but also have fun. Are there any other festivals or gatherings that the restaurant gets involved with?
Sometimes in the neighborhood, they'll have little, down on Peckslip Park or down the Seaport, like by the Pier 17, they'll have little parties, and mostly it's Theo's band playing.
Mm-hmm. Old Grimes.
The Old Grimes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just played, they had a garden party 2 weeks ago, and Theo's band was there.
So the listeners know Cowgirl Seahorse. What's the address? It's on Front Street.
259 Front Street on the corner of Dover.
So that's really right down there, right next to the on-ramp to the Brooklyn Bridge and right.
We're right under the Brooklyn Bridge. Yeah. We're a block from the water. And we're right under the bridge.
So How much community is developed around there? Are there people living there? Do you got regulars, or is it purely tourists, or what's the mix,
Oh
do you
no,
think?
it's crazy. There's so many people living down there you would never think, but we have tons of regulars and there are a lot of them are very supportive of our music, which is much appreciated. And
Yeah,
we also get a lot of tourists. It's about 50-50, but we definitely have a lot of regulars.
I would not have thought that, but I'm glad to hear it.
And everybody knows everybody in the neighborhood, which is really nice.
I want to shift topics a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about, I mean, you said a block from the water. What happened during Hurricane Sandy down that end?
Well, we have a water line on our wall. It's probably about 4 feet high, I
Oof.
would say. Yep. And we got really lucky because we didn't have a basement. So the water came in and went out. It wasn't just festering down in our basement. And we did have a lot of damage, but actually, when you're
Mm.
talking about community, we had a lot of neighbors and whatnot come and help us clean up. And we got back up and running in around a week.
Wow.
Hmm.
You must have had a lot of help with that. What are you looking forward to in the next couple of months, 6 months down at the restaurant, besides your vacation?
Just trying to maybe my vacation. I already had it.
Hmm.
Maybe I don't know, just to grow our music community, which I kind of feel like all of our musicians are getting to know each other and they're all playing with each other at different venues. And I really like the fact that we've established this community and I just want it to grow more and more.
Are you thinking about adding another night, perhaps?
Of course, I'm always thinking about I'd love to have it every night, but we can't. We can't. We're just too busy on the weekends
Hmm.
and we've got trivia on Wednesdays. So it just at the moment it's not gonna work.
Right. So we're locked into
I would
one.
love to one day add more, make my
Yeah.
life easier.
Have you ever tried Sunday night?
That's the one I'm thinking about. I don't know.
It's a tough one because people
A lot of
do.
people do go out on Sunday nights and play though in the music world.
Well, it'll be exciting if you do actually wind up adding another night, I think.
Oh, I hope so one day.
So, Gail, it's been great to get to meet you and talk about your music empire at Cowgirl
Thank
Seahorse.
you for having me. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
And,
Empire.
and we'll look forward to seeing you down at the restaurant.
Yeah, I'll see you the last Tuesday of the month at the Jam.
So we have Gail to thank for a lot of what's going on at Cowgirl Seahorse. But there are others involved, and we caught up with Steve Smith. Steve is one of the other partners and made a number of contributions to Cowgirl Seahorse. We wanted to hear what he had to say, so let's give a listen there. I'm here with Steve Smith, often known as Dirty Steve. Steve, thanks for joining.
No problem. Happy to be here.
So, what's this I hear about a new tattoo?
Oh, I got a tattoo with Gail the other day. It's a KLF tattoo. KLF were the stupid Euro dance band in the 1990s that split the best dance award with Simply Red.
I see.
And they quit the music industry after receiving that award and then took all their money and burned it. Like,
Okay,
I shit
that's
you not,
hardcore.
and then deleted all their music. So they're like the greatest anarchists ever.
First of all, how long have you been involved with Cowgirl Seahorse?
Oh,
and
from the
what prompted
beginning,
you?
I would go there on my days off at the other Cowgirl and work on building it. I started off like I bought in a little bit in the get-go because I fell down my stairs, so I had money to buy in. So I invested in Seahorse, and then I worked off a bunch of shares as well. So I've been in from the impetus. We've been around, I think it's 16 years now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, but I was working at the Cowgirl in the West Village, also known as the Cowgirl Hall of Fame. Sherry Delamarter approached me. She was the founder of the Cowgirl Hall of Fame. They had music, they had trivia, they had stuff like that there. So there was sometimes music in the back at the main cow, but we all, like we migrated to the South Street Seaport. Sherry had an apartment on Pearl Street at the time, and she was like, I really like this neighborhood. I had been there a week before meeting friends from Austin, Texas, where I lived prior to this. And like, I really like that neighborhood. And she approached me about maybe being involved in this. And so I bartended for years and years and years until like during the pandemic, I got cancer and I took a step back. So I'm fine now. Everything's good.
Thank goodness.
But I kind of had to slow down. So, and I also have this record store.
So, first of all, before we go to the record store and other stuff, do you play music?
Of course.
What do you play?
I play bass mostly now, but I was in a punk band in Austin called Pink Swords, most notably. We were on Gearhead Records, toured Europe. And then when that broke up, I joined a band called Bad Wizard. I play bass, and I bought a bass at a pawn shop, and I played till my fingers bled literally, and then played through Band-Aids until I learned. They were like, learn 12 songs, and I learned like 30. Flew out here with a one-way ticket, and I just kind of left all my stuff in Austin. And like, much to the chagrin of my roommates, I was like, you can have my couch, you can have my stuff. I luckily fell into the Cowgirl family. I got a few jobs when I came to the city. I went and I handed out tons and tons of applications and didn't get anything, but I had a friend of a friend who got me in at the Cowgirl Hall of Fame. And then I was like, yeah, this is kind of like every place I'd ever worked in Texas, though, which was familiar and lovely and amazing, and which is why I ended up staying there. But at first I was like, oh, I should work like for some fancy ass restaurant. I'm in New York. So I went and I got a job at a Marcus Samuelson place called Aquavit, I believe it was. But I worked there for shifts, and it was just awful. I watched one of the chefs dress somebody down like it was like out of a TV show. And I was like, man, this is not cool. And so I just like, a voice in my head said, go to the Cowgirl. So I got involved with them from Texas. It was a very nice restaurant. And then that feel is at the Seahorse.
Yeah, it's a very special place. I'll say that. I don't know if any of
So that's my PA that I yoinked from Human Head. We had that there on a trade from somebody else. Actually, I think the sound in there is great now.
Yeah.
For, you know, basically a restaurant that has music. I think it's pretty dialed in. I like that place, that it's kind of homegrown.
Hey, I played on that sound system last night at Theo's birthday party. We had
It sounds great in there, right? It's really like a fun place to play.
Yep, it is a fun place to play, and it's a fun place to be. Before we go to that, Human Head?
Human Head started about 11 years ago. One of my friends, it actually all ties in. One of my friends, Travis, I had met at an Art Brut show in the East Village from Cowgirl. Some people dragged me out there. And so I became friends with him. And then when we got hit with Hurricane Sandy a few years into our operation, I called my friend Travis. I was like, come out here, help me. So he helped every day. So his friend was buying an envelope factory in Florida, and Travis was going to move there. And I was like, do you have a passion for envelopes?
That's right. The glamour industry.
Not really. And I was like, do you have a passion for music? Because I do. Let's start a record store. He's the best partner you could have. And so we have really made this record store into something from nothing. Like, we didn't know about used vinyl other than what we liked. And now we have our fingers in everything. And it's expanded to so many different kinds of music too that I end up liking. So it's fun to go to work. We just discover stuff all day.
Is it all vinyl?
We sell other stuff. I do some gear, but it's all on the floor. It's 100% vinyl. It's 100% used. So we have an online store in the back. We sell tons of stuff on Discogs. We have a Discogs page here. Then we have one remotely in UK, one in Japan, and we're starting one in Brazil. So we ship on pallets out there. We have a friend who ships them. So we do local stores overseas. So we put US titles over there that we could ship locally. And then we have a brick and mortar building in the front, which is like 1,500 square feet, one of the biggest stores.
Where?
We're in Brooklyn. We're right by the $3 bill, if you know where that is, and right by Danbro. A lot of you musicians probably practice at Danbro. We're 100 feet away, walk across the street and go down towards Morgan. And we look like we're a U-Haul box store sometimes because we have so many boxes of records in the front. But if you come in, there's 2,500 square feet of records. And
wow.
And so I had a fabulous pandemic. I got to hang out with my family a ton, you know, get to see my daughter, work at Seahorse, come build this.
That's fascinating. And I know I didn't know about Human Head. What's the evolution of having music at the
Cowgirl Seahorse?
Yeah, at the Seahorse. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because like we started, I think it was just like once in a while we would have people just do appearances and we would have like special events. And then I think it just was like, we should actually make a space where people can do. And then we started having it on certain nights and it really started to take off. So I think you can refer to Gail to the specifics about this. And like my band can play there once in a while, but we're loud, you know, and it's like, the neighbors call, the cops, like literally as we were finished, the cops came out and I was like, oh, it's okay, we're done. So we try not to have too heavy hitting, and our drummers are bashers. It's like, it is the restaurant of the neighborhood and everybody wants to be that. And like, it took us many years to establish that, but it's like, we are friends with everybody that's down there. We're a part of the neighborhood. More is in the OSA, which is the old Seaport Alliance that started up after Sandy to help people get down there. There is a feel to that neighborhood that's so cool. It's like an undiscovered gem.
It's very surprising because part of it's a very touristy area, but
they're just walking around looking for the bridge. Like, how do I walk on the Brooklyn Bridge?
That's
like,
right.
I give directions to that like 5,000 times, you know, but there's more to us down there than just directions to the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah. I guess it takes a little bit of a decision process to say, I'm going to give up table space in a restaurant to let, you know, a string band go play.
One table.
Is it one?
And it brings people in, but people like it. They come in and it's all part of the community. Most people would be happy to see a show.
As we were chatting before the show, I think if you walk up to any 10 jamming bluegrass musicians or gigging bluegrass musicians around Brooklyn and ask them, do you know Cowgirl Seahorse? You'll get 9 yeses, maybe 10.
See, that's amazing that it's part of a scene. And that is a testimonial to Theo's stick-to-itiveness and Gail's like booking and like people repeating and that kind of stuff. And I think that's great because it's a scene. Having people have loyalty and want to play there, a desire to play there too, and support each other is really cool.
Yeah, one of the reasons we wanted to get a chance to talk to you and Gail about all this is because as a relative newcomer, so I've been around the bluegrass string band jamming scene for a year and a half, 2 years maybe. And every time I turn around, somebody's mentioning Cowgirl Seahorse. What's going on there? I'm playing there. Are you going to see so-and-so there? And all of the people I now know and count as friends who are gigging musicians, I think every one of them has played there. So it's extremely cool to be able to go and see my friends play.
All right, that's amazing. That makes me feel really good.
One of the most important things to us semi-professional or even just amateur gigging musicians is to have venues that value and support us. I've been at bars where they're kind of looking at you sideways. I could see them toting up the table space and seatings they're not getting from the space we're occupying and asking the musicians to make sure they buy food, buy drink.
Don't we feed you? It's kind of the opposite approach, right?
I host a jam here in the Deep South, in Bay Ridge, the Deep South of Brooklyn, that is, at Delia's Lounge on 93rd and 3rd. And yeah, we're playing. They bring out plates of food. The musicians drink soda and beer for cheap or free, depending on their mood that day.
Great. I mean,
yeah, they want us there.
That's how it should be. As a gigging musician, I used to play, and I know exactly what you're talking about, where they'd have like the sign that says, your drink tickets do not include tip. You should have, respect for the people that are there because they're bringing people into your place.
The fact that you're even thinking about that is part of the reason we have the joy of Cowgirl Seahorse.
Yeah, there were places when we would tour in a band that would feel like hometown or like a home space. And it was like, be it the people that were there, be it the employees, be it the bands that you played with, whatever. But that camaraderie is what makes music so amazing.
Yep.
And why shouldn't that extend to everything? And what really profoundly affected me when I moved to New York, you borrow stuff from people. New York is a community where people rely on each other to get by. You can do it yourself, or you can help with your friends that are also in the same situation.
Yep.
We don't have huge houses to entertain in, so we go out to places, so we're all in this together.
Yep.
Community makes everything better.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the hallmarks of the bluegrass and Americana musicians here, at least in the Brooklyn, New York area, and frankly, everywhere I've gone when I've traveled around a bit, is there is a community there.
Yeah.
I don't just play with that guy. I've made friends.
And that makes it so much more special and and you enjoy doing these things.
So anything coming up first, let's talk about Cowgirl Seahorse. Anything coming up, any big projects or anything special on the horizon from your perspective?
It's just hopefully they're doing shows all winter. They're talking about doing on the rooftop. That just is a boost for us.
That'd be interesting.
Come down and support your friend.
All right. Listen, Steve, I want to thank you very much for taking time. And we all want to thank you and Gail and the others for making Cowgirl Seahorse such a special and iconic music venue here in New York.
I very much say thank you. And also, I know it sounds cheesy, but you can't do it without other people. You can't be a scene without people involved in it. So being involved in the scene and coming and returning, it's great. It makes it an event. And to hear that people say it's one of the top venues in New York is just like an honor.
Getting the story of Cowgirl Seahorse as an iconic venue here in New York City has been fascinating. We hope that if you're in the city and you have a Monday or Tuesday night here, you head down to the Seaport, give a listen. There's always going to be a great local artist playing there. You won't be disappointed. Okay, so thanks for joining us on this Monday edition of Bluegrass Brooklyn. Please remember to follow us at Bluegrass Brooklyn, Brooklyn spelled BKLYN. Email us at mike@bluegrassbrooklyn.com. And we look forward to seeing you around the Jam Circle.